And we're back to everybody's bi-monthly favorite podcast. It's the Very Terrible Podcast with me, Jason, B. Spike on the mic.
What up?
And Laurie's joining us today.
Hello.
So as usual, it's about every other month or so that we go through and do this. And you can find the Very Terrible Podcast on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, YouTube, and wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Big news. This is the first episode. We're going to do this today. We have a pseudo sponsor. A pseudo sponsor. Like, take it to the bank. We have a company, South Florida Lift Stations. South Florida Lift Stations is committed to be a sponsor, even though we don't ask for anything and we haven't received anything. We have somebody that wants to advertise with us. So I'll go around the table. Who knows what a lift station is?
It's like the poop thing, right?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Do they like clean the water or something, I think?
Sort of.
What,
Is that all you know?
Pretty much.
Has to do with poop and clean water. Okay.
Well, that's what I said.
That's okay. Yeah. What do you know?
It has to do with the lift station being a commercial type thing for, oh boy, I'm slaughtering this. It's not like at a person's house. It's kind of where all the drainage stuff goes. And if it gets backed up, it has to be cleaned out. And it definitely has a lot of poop in it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're failing our sponsor.
That's okay.
I
This is
would
how we
point
learn.
out.
And we'll we'll
sorry.
have him. Do you want? We could have him call. We could call him and then put him on the show and then have him explain it to us. But essentially, what happens is gravity pulls everything down, right? So when you have water pipes, whether they be clean or dirty, and Florida is basically flat, to get water from one place to another, you need gravity besides pumping, right? You can pump water into pipes, but pumps only go so far. So you have to have water that gravity has to pull down. So all the pipes in the ground essentially are tilted down. What happens is you can only go so far down. You have to have a lift station to pull the water back up to have it then go sliding back down. See that? So
impeccable work.
There you
But
go.
it's not like the kind that we would think of for our personal plumbing or anything. It has to do with something commercialized,
It's
right?
on commercial. Like the city of where we live has them like in the medians in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
There's these large silver boxes and these large pipes that come out of the ground. That's the lift stations for the municipal water supply. And South Florida Lift Stations operates pretty much on smaller commercial properties and can handle any of your needs. But they install, maintain, and repair lift stations. So if you have any lift station needs, make sure you call Josh at 239-707-3603. South Florida Lift Station's first premier endorser of the Very Terrible Podcast. So in the last 2 months, there's been a few news things back and forth, and I've just been jotting and taking notes down because sometimes we're not good about getting back to the microphone as quick as we should. But the first thing on the list that I have is the eclipse. And that's how long ago since we've been on.
Girl, that was like a long time ago.
I know, right?
I was like still in school.
Was it?
What?
That's been since the last time we've had.
Girl, bye.
Yeah.
This is old news.
So I don't know. How did you feel about the eclipse hype and then the eclipse itself?
I didn't look at it. I don't care. It's an eclipse. Nothing. It doesn't change my day whatsoever.
Nothing? Yeah.
I don't look at the sun regardless.
Did you take any? Well, you were still in school, right? Mm-hmm. So were there science experiments? Did they take you outside?
Nope.
No?
No, and I picked her up from school that day.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking, not that I drive around and look at the sun, but I remember thinking, don't look at the sun, and it was a little bit darker out, and that was about it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so for real right now. Every time there's an eclipse, I get the impulse to look at the sun just to see what happened, because I know I'm not going blind within the second.
Well,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, you don't know that.
It's always the last. It's the last second before you go blind. Like, oh, that was too much.
You're supposed to use
That box
something that
thing.
you poke the little holes in so that you can still see it, but not
Yeah.
look directly
You know
at
what?
it.
When I hit the age where I know I'm getting taken out soon, I'm just looking at the sun.
Is that it? So you
I'm
don't.
calling it quits because I need to know what happens.
Well, I can tell you what happens. It's the shadow of the moon on the Earth from the sun.
Well,
It's
not that,
like
dingus. I'm
Well-
talking about like what happens when I look at it.
oh Well, it burns your retina. That's
Well, there you go. I want to know.
But I want to know who looked at the sun and their retina was burned and they became blind.
well, I don't necessarily think it was from an eclipse. I just think look at the sun in general. Go outside tomorrow and look at the sun. It hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts your skin to stand in it at this
But there
point.
was nothing on the news like some bozo looked at the sun
No,
without...
I just think you're not supposed to look at the sun. I think it's one of
Yeah.
those general rules of thumb. But we had a telescope when we were in school, and the telescope had a special attachment, and then they put it on a piece of paper, and you just watched the white circle, and then the black circle comes over, and then the white circle comes back, and you go back to your classroom. It was not a big deal, but at least we had something in school. But I was pretty let down. I went outside. I was at work, and I went outside and went, "Ugh, it's a crappy cloudy day," and it wasn't crappy cloudy. It was that whole mess. So that was a huge letdown. I thought there was a lot of, wasn't there? There was like a bunch of people that traveled to Ohio, a place that no one would ever want to go on purpose in the first place, right? Wasn't it Ohio?
I don't
What
know.
are you talking about?
There was they took a map of the country and they put it out and they put this like curvature stripe across. They said, if you're in any of these areas, you're going to perfectly see this eclipse. Where we were, you only saw a partial eclipse because of the angles. But like these people traveled to, East, BF, Ohio, and they sat there and paid money and paid tickets, and they sat out there and they were screaming and cheering and bought T-shirts, and it was ridiculous. So,
Wow,
Supposedly.
that's dedication.
oh, they showed people on the news like, here we are in Ohio, coming to you live from the eclipse, and it was a big letdown altogether.
Or you can
Probably
just watch
not
it on
for
YouTube.
them.
Yeah, you can just watch it on YouTube.
Watch it on YouTube.
That's what we do with everything else.
Literally.
Yeah. Well, also things that are, so the next item up on the list, speaking of things that nobody does anymore, is we were in the grocery store and we were walking out of the grocery store. Now, when Mom and I were kids, that, you would go to the grocery store, and what was the one thing that was by the exit door when you left the grocery store?
The gumball machine?
That's what
Gumball
I was going to
machines.
say.
Yeah, gumball machine. Where did all the gumball machines go? And why?
They're gone because they're grimy and gross.
You
They're
think?
just grotty,
But
disgusting.
It didn't always have food in
Blech.
them.
I think it's because it's not cheap enough to put things in them anymore.
Well,
I
that
mean,
might be
at
it.
Dollar Tree, they have like candy and like little capsule things.
Do they still have those at Dollar Tree?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which is
it's
also
Dollar Tree, but
it says it's dollar, air quotes, Dollar Tree, $1.25.
dude, they had a $5 section when we went there
See,
the other day.
that sucks.
That's like Five Below. Got in the freaking $20 and below section. Get a grip.
That may have been a special thing, though, for those backpacks. Normally, you don't go in Dollar Tree and see things that are $5.
Yeah.
Well,
But
But-
back to the gumball machines and the things at the front of the store, I think they're not profitable.
Yeah. It's just weird. I mean, I guess
Because
you're
when
probably
I
right.
was a kid,
Well, that's what I'm
you
thinking. They
got
were
three-
everywhere.
3 gumballs for a penny.
girl, bye.
Yeah,
What?
I don't think you
Yeah.
can get anything
No, I
for
mean,
even 5 or 10 cents now. You
They
can't
have-
even get a gumball.
where were we when we put 3/4 into the one slot and you turned it and something came out?
That's
Disney?
That's that. No, it's
Where were we?
that's
We
the
were
penny
somewhere.
machine.
And you
That's
put
a
like
dollar,
that was
but
weird. You put all the
it's
quarters and
the-
stacked them.
Was it
it's
Russ?
it's a pizza place. You put the 3/4 and you push a thing and
Oh,
like attches
Lula's?
your stickers come out. I think so.
Yeah.
Or is it your
Nope. Where's the race car upside down on the ceiling?
Ford's?
Nope. Hamburger place, upside down race car.
Oh, Foster's.
Foster's. That's what it was. It was the sticker packs by their pseudo arcade of
Yeah,
two
it's
games.
probably not 3/4. Now it's probably 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was weird. It was like all of a sudden it happened. It was, gone are the phone books, gone are the candy machines, and they just disappeared. And it was just overnight. And like I remember as a kid, like that was a lot of fun. You saved up your quarters and all of a sudden you went and you got some stupid sticker or a little football helmet and they're just completely gone.
But Bella's right. They are kind of disgusting when you think about it. All the hands that...
I've never thought they were gross. So I just picked that up off you.
Well, I think it's gross because you touch dirty money and then you take your same fingers and you put it in the machine to get your gumballs out. And
oh, that's
did
right.
you ever see anybody cleaning those?
No, but
Because I
people were
didn't.
tough back then. Like we didn't have COVID. We just picked up dirty gumballs and put them in our mouths.
I have a question.
Okay.
Were peanut allergies and like gluten allergies a
No.
thing when you were a kid? Yeah.
No, not that. If they were, we didn't really know about it. There was no peanut-free table at school. Like everybody just sat together. There wasn't any restrictions on the types of food you could have for allergies.
Yeah. I mean, there was a class of kids that were by themselves because they couldn't behave or they had needs that needed to be met. But there was no peanut allergy table. There wasn't any of that. But yeah, it was just, I think it's the bodies are fighting back. Like, we can't do things because we have to be safe.
I mean, there's a few kids in my school who have allergies. I mean, I feel bad because, like, I don't know. When I was in elementary school, they would, like, segregate them. Like, literally, if you hadn't, like, a severe allergy to, egg, peanut, gluten, or whatever, you'd have to sit at your own table.
Yeah.
With other allergy kids.
Well, some people literally can die from that.
Yeah, no, I know that. But I'm talking about, like, if these people just can't eat it, like, they can be near it, they just can't eat it, they still have to go sit at that table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Well, you know why? Because you live in a world of litigation, and somebody's going to accidentally get hurt, and someone's going to get sued, and then there's going to be all this lawsuit. It's just easier to put them on their own thing. Put them out in the corner.
That's so sad, though.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's either that or you wouldn't be able to have those foods at all at school. Like, no peanut butter
They did do that. Like, in classrooms, if you had someone in your class with a peanut allergy, you couldn't bring, like, anything with peanuts in it for snack.
Right? Or for the birthday. Remember the birthday things? Like, you can't make homemade food anymore for birthdays.
Well, that makes sense, because you don't know what I wouldn't eat it.
No, I get that, too. But
unless someone brings in something from, like, Dunkin' or Publix. Like,
prepackaged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not allowed to bring anything that's not prepackaged, but, like...
when we were kids, you could bring in homemade cupcakes. And you didn't have to tell everybody the ingredients.
I mean, even when she was in kindergarten, didn't they have, like, homemade cupcakes?
Oh, well, when I was in... Kinda, yeah. When I was in Gate, people would, like, bring in stuff. But, yeah.
The smart kids can eat peanuts.
Dude.
Let's see. I also wrote down padded toilet seats.
Ew.
Oh, gosh,
do you remember those?
Yes.
They're super comfortable.
Ew.
Really disgusting, but super comfortable on your butt. It's a toilet seat, but it had like a plastic, like, molded pad that was on it.
Yeah.
So it was soft.
They were nice.
Yeah, they were really, because, well, I mean, for me, I grew up north where it was cold. And, like, you'd sit on those same plastic toilet seats like you have now, and you'd freeze your butt off. But then you had, like, the plastic ones, and you'd sink into it. It'd be like
The padded ones or the plastic ones?
The padded ones.
But every now and then you'd go somewhere to someone's house, and there'd be a little tiny crack. And as you sat on it, it would pinch your butt skin.
It would, because it would open, and then you'd just stand back up, and it would pinch on the way out. It was, and you got to imagine they were disgusting, but you don't see padded toilet seats anymore. Like, I went intentionally looking for them the last time in Home Depot. There were no padded toilet seats.
But nowadays they have other things for the toilet, like the bidet.
Also something I can't get behind. Just use toilet paper.
People who have them love them. Like, we've got this big movement at work right now where people, like, are trying to order bidets, and they're like $25 a piece. They're not a whole lot of money, but the department won't buy them. So the guy's like, well, we want to buy them, but we don't want to share them. It was there's this weird thing with the bidets, but they're fighting over it right now.
But, like, how does spraying your butt with water do anything? Like, I feel like unless you're soaping it, like...
No, it's like putting your thumb on a garden hose. Like, I've never really tried it, to be fair.
And you can also use them.
I'm scared of them. I feel like they'd hurt.
For not just the back end, but the front end.
Ew.
There's a series of buttons.
Mm-hmm. We know someone who has. I'm not sure if it's
still
called
have it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was hooked up at their new house. And the one time that I sat on that toilet, and it kind of startles you the first time when you get cleaned with it. But it was nice.
Whenever I use someone's toilet, I make sure that bidet is not near me. If I ever see that little bidet control panel, I mean, if that's your thing, go you, but not me.
Yeah, nowadays they have on the toilet where the light turns on. It's like a flashlight on your toilet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for when it's dark, if you get up to go to the bathroom.
So for the people who don't have a traditional nightlight, you can just,
you
just got to make your way to the toilet first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but for cleaning purposes.
Yeah. Okay, I can get on board with that.
Okay, we're getting one.
Yeah, sure.
We'll let you know how it works.
Yeah. So we'll try it out, and we'll go from there. Public phones. I think we discussed that before. Like, pay phones, they're just gone.
Like those box things, or what?
Yeah, like not even the ones you stand in, but like just in general. Like, they used to, on the sides of buildings, they would have a telephone. You'd put a coin in, and you could make a phone call.
You took B to. It wasn't a museum, but it was somewhere local that had.
Yeah, that was a museum. That was on a kids' field trip.
Yeah,
and
but she asked what that was.
Yeah, no clue. She had no clue what that was, and they had the old Jenny operator board, the one there where
What's that?
it was like a desk, and you'd sit at it, and it had 10,000 holes on it, and each hole was a phone line, and you'd be like, Jenny, dial 4846, please. And she'd go, yes, sir, Mr. Johnson, sir. And she'd go, ring, ring. And she'd take these two cords and she'd plug them into separate areas.
He acts like he knows them.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was.
That was long before our time.
Yeah, yeah. That was even before our time. But
maybe great-grandma.
That was right next to the walk-in phone booth that she was in.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So then the whole advent of phone numbers and individual dialing and the Jennies of the world are gone.
And when you used a payphone, it started out from what I remember as 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went up to 25 cents. But then what you would do, because no one had cell phones, if you'd go like to the movies and you needed to be picked up after, if your parents didn't know what time to pick you up, you would do a collect call, even though they weren't going to accept it because it was expensive. And your mom or dad would know, okay, they need me to pick them up. They made the collect call. That means they're done.
Yeah, because it was called 1-800-COLLECT, and you would call it and it would say your name at the tone, and you'd say your name, and then they would call, and then like the receiver of the phone call, they'd pick up the phone and they'd say, this is 1-800-COLLECT, and then you'd hear the recorded voice of, she'd go, Laurie, and Laurie is calling. Press 1 to accept the charges, and you'd press 1 and you could make your phone call. My parents did the same thing. Say your name at the tone. This is Dad. Don't press 1. Here's what we're doing. And he spit out a bunch of information. Just hang up.
Hang up.
And then just hang up. So we didn't have to pay for the phone call.
And then before there were cell phones, if you needed the phone number for something, if it wasn't in the phone book, like let's say it was a new place and it just wasn't in there yet, you'd have to call. It was either 0 or then it became 411. Mm-hmm. And then you'd tell them the name of the place you were trying to get the phone number for. And then they would look it up or somehow get you the number, but then they'd charge you for it to give you the number.
Yeah. 0 was the operator. That was the end of the old lady Jenny that used to connect the cords, but then her job was to help you look for phone numbers, and now she doesn't exist anymore. But ironically enough, when you call customer service and you want to talk to somebody, you press 0. So that's still that old muscle memory thing. Something that's going to be going away, I feel, pretty soon is going to be coin machines. So everybody's got coins. Well, we used to have coins. Now all money's electronic and on cards. But our local bank used to have the coin machine.
Oh, like the ones at like the arcade? That breaks the 20 into like $20 worth of quarters?
Not even that. Where you have a whole bucket of change and you just want to deposit it.
Oh, those things.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Reverse of what I'm talking about. All
yeah.
right.
So you go there and you put your coins in and it gives you the little slip and you take it up to the teller for the deposit. We went in, it's been probably about 6 months now. There's a fee on it for anything less than $100. I'm like,
fair.
How?
Because that's like a waste of time.
It's not their time.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a line.
You as the customer have to dump all the coins in.
I mean, they got to make money somehow.
It's 5%. It's not even a little bit of money. It's 5% of the total. It's going back to the bank to pay for this machine that's already been paid for. I found it to be ridiculous. And I was saying nobody even uses change anymore. Just uses coins.
How else are they going to make money though?
Well, the bank makes money by investing your money.
Well, no, she means off of the coin machine.
Well,
they deserve something for the fact that you don't have to spend all the time rolling or wrapping the coins, which I don't think they accept that anymore either.
They won't. They will
so
not accept wrapped coins anymore.
When I used to work at Publix a long time ago, people could bring in, and they actually would ask us for the coin wrappers, and then they'd bring in $2 in nickels, and then we'd give them $2 and take the nickels, but we didn't make any profit off of that.
No, it was service. It was just service based.
And then you would trust them. Like you wouldn't open up the roll and say, are there really $10 in quarters? Maybe it was $9.75, but you gave them $10.
Yeah, it was just, I guess those are gone are the days where that stuff's going too. And with, things that are actually going away and all that stuff. We had something that I realized the other day when we had batteries that were going dead in the house. Did your parents, grandparents, or anybody ever put batteries in the refrigerator?
What?
Yes, and off topic a little, also nail polish.
In the fridge?
Yeah, and I don't really know if it did anything, but nail polish also. Huh. But back to the batteries.
Yeah.
For what purpose are you putting? That's like what?
So the urban legend, I guess you'd call it, or the old wives' tale, or however it goes, is that the energy would be conserved in the coldness of the refrigerator, and the energy would not drain out of the battery as quickly, so you could retain and extend the life of the batteries in the refrigerator. So like in my grandmother's refrigerator, in the bottom there was a drawer like where you would put your fresh vegetables, and it was a Ziploc bag full of half-used batteries. It wasn't the new ones, it was the half-used ones. And I don't know what, we never went into it for anything, but I could only imagine, like, I need a half-dead battery real quick. Let me go to the fridge.
You could have a bologna and battery
Yeah,
sandwich.
I can imagine all the cross-contamination of the zinc and lead and all that stuff that was in the batteries. It was, and a new old person thing that we've just found is going to be the advent of whole body deodorant.
Also gross.
Yeah, this is something that's been advertised for the old people.
I mean, hear me out though. If you're gonna stink if you don't wear it, happily, I'm in full support.
Well, I think the better idea would be to shower daily.
Yeah,
Well,
Instead
I
of
feel
putting
like,
on Lumi or whatever else.
Well, I feel like if you're like one of those people that like smells really bad and you're gonna like go outside and do yard work, then I can support it.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's true. Or
Instead
if
of
you work
stanking up
outside.
everybody's room.
And the commercials are pretty funny. I mean, to their defense, it says it's for your pits and for your tits, but it blurps out the tits part. It's pretty funny.
But
I mean,
we're not doing that here.
No, we're not, because we don't have the FCC bothering us yet.
And people do get sweat in odd places, so I
Sure.
can see the benefit of it. I just hope that it doesn't replace showers for certain people, because
Yeah.
that's gross.
Like maybe like during a hurricane when you can't shower or you can't get out, like they gave us these body wipes. They
Shower in the rain.
Or if you go to
That's
the
my
gym,
opinion.
if you go to the gym and you have to go somewhere like right after you're going to the grocery store on your way home, I could see using that.
Yeah.
But that's it.
And then, and then another product that is still around that was an old product from our back in the day was Swatch.
Yeah,
Swatch
I
was
had
one.
I think it was a pop swatch I had.
Is that like a watch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot.
It stood
I
for
loved it.
Swiss watch, didn't it? I thought, because I
I don't
remember
know.
like being like a Swiss flag or something on the logo.
Yeah, I had a few of them. I had just a regular watch, and then I had the pop watch. Where
See, that was a rich kid thing. I didn't have that.
Yeah, well, we weren't rich, I assure you. It must have been a Christmas gift. But the face of the watch would pop out, and then you could change the band, and it was like a bigger piece of elastic, I guess.
Like almost a stretchy rubber.
Yeah. I love that thing though.
Huh. Yeah, that was something. Because a lot of the clothing lines that we had from long ago have long since died.
Well, did you ever wear did you have a shirt that said Coca-Cola across the front? That was a big fad.
You know what the worst part is? I think I had a Pepsi one. I don't think I had... maybe no, it was Coca-Cola, but it was blue. And I always felt bad because I felt like I had a rip-off shirt. Like, Coca-Cola's supposed to be red, and I got this one that's not as good.
No, I think there may have been.
I'll
a blue
find a
one,
picture of
too.
it, 'cause I
That
got it, yeah.
And the Z Cavarici.
Z
pants.
Cavaricis, yeah. The elite
weren't
of
that
the
great.
elite was... Well, yeah, but if you had to have the names to go with it.
Well, and I don't know if he'll hear this episode, but Uncle Jason had Z Cavarici pants. I remember that.
Yeah, that was you had to have them, and then I didn't, so I was in that group. I was in the patches on the pants group. Oh.
Patches and pants are so cute. I love patches. I have pants.
Well,
with
see, but
patches.
now you guys pay extra money to have rips in your pants.
The thing is, when you're at that age, and I don't know if you feel this way, but you just want to fit in. You want to somewhat feel like you look good around other kids your age, and when you don't have those things, you can't help but feel bad or a little.
Well, you look good, you feel
Displeased.
good, you
I mean,
perform well.
I can get that, but I do my own thing.
Oh, and
I mean, I can understand that, but I do my own.
yeah, you do. I will say that about you, that you don't really. I don't want to say you don't care, but you have enough confidence in yourself to wear what you want. Like one day you may have on like country type clothes. Another day you may be in leggings. You wear a variety of things.
I will never, like 3 things we'll never do. Those Nirvana shirts. Get out
Well,
of
you're
here.
not old enough to have heard Nirvana.
No, not like the cute, not like the old style Nirvana shirts. Like those ones with like the pink and the yellow and the neon colors.
have not
that
seen that.
swirled. Oh gosh, they're like hoodies. They're.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what should make a comeback is jelly shoes.
Ugh.
I wore those. I think I was about between 5 years old and 10 years old. I loved those
Didn't
things.
I used to have a pair when I was like really little?
I think so, but the ones that I wore didn't have like a strap across the top. They were cheap shoes.
Jelly
but
shoes?
I can tell you're confused. It's like they're kind of like a clearish. Sometimes they have glitter in them.
Did you ever wear those? They were like it was a bracelet. They were different colors. You'd, I guess, blend two of them together, like intertwine them, and then you'd wear two. Well, it was
No.
that same material, but they were jelly shoes, and you could get them wet. They were, I don't want to say totally indestructible, but you could do just about anything in those shoes, and girls wore them, not boys.
That might be the thing.
But I loved those things.
Huh. Yeah. What were the other two things that you said you would never do?
Oh, okay. So with the exception of like that crossbody bag, Lululemon.
What?
Lululemon.
You won't. You will
the
not wear.
brand.
Not at all. It's. Have you seen the prices on that stuff? And in my opinion, like I think other people can pull it off. Not me though.
I mean, it's simply yoga pants, isn't it?
No, well, it used to be, but now it's like these like really bright shirts, and like I think a lot of people look good in it. I just don't think it's for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's like
I
really
didn't
popular.
realize that Lululemon was more than yoga pants. I really just thought it was a yoga pants thing.
it's like athleisure.
Oh, okay.
And, like,
Pants, skirts.
I don't care what
shorts.
other people wear. It's just like these things are me personally.
Yeah.
And the last thing is like those like really like athletic Nike shoes. Go for it. But for me, but like those like dunks and all that, not my jam. Other people look good in them, not me. Personally.
Have you tried them?
I've seen like I've had Lilies. I've like put them next to my foot.
Yeah.
I don't think they look good.
Oh.
I'm more of a Converse person, but that's just me.
No, yeah, it is.
Like,
you
there's kids in my
support the Converse brand.
Yeah. There's people in my school who wear them. They look good in them. Not me though.
Yeah, Lily looks good in them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of epic fashion, the website Sticker Mule, you can get yourself a Very Terrible Podcast T-shirt, and if you visit our Instagram page, Very Terrible Podcast on Instagram, we have a $10 off your first order coupon that you can go and click and get yourself $10 off your first order at Sticker Mule. Let them know that the Very Terrible Podcast sent you. I don't know. Maybe it'll work.
Maybe
it'll work. How do you think you got to get the flow going? We're gonna we're gonna be famous. It's gonna be great
someday. Hopefully sooner than later.
I know everything else isn't really working out. Well, does anybody else have anything else?
No.
No.
Not that I can think of.
All right. Well,
we didn't really plan any
Yeah.
topics. It was more random.
It was more random. That's okay. We hit a bunch of topics, and there's a bunch more for a later date. But we're hitting that sweet spot, that half an hour mark, where everybody's like, they've either driven to where they have to go, or they've got something else they need to do, or
they're just getting tired of hearing us talk.
That could be it, because they're just mad about their Z Cavaricis and their
Coca-Cola shirts.
and their blue
Swatch
Coca-Cola
watches,
shirts.
Jelly shoes. Is there anything else, though, clothing-wise?
Well, fashion is really hard, right? Because fashion just goes away so quick. Because we watched the Olympic warm-up thing, and we saw who made those trunks.
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton trunks. I mean, and that's a company that's just been around forever, but that's the exception to the rule. I mean, for fashion, you could stick that logo on anything. People are just going to buy it. But no, fashion is one that goes away. Technology is always different because cell phones, you can't keep up with cell phones anymore. So that's going. And
Well, I don't think cell phones are going away. I think they
just
keep
change.
reinventing them.
Yeah.
So the technology gets better and better, but then they try to make things retro.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see a flip phone.
Yeah, the new
which
ones.
we actually had, but now they make a flip phone to be like a cool phone, even though that's what we had.
Yeah.
20
it's a
years
smartphone
ago.
that closes and flips, and I went, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
From the days of the Nokia, it was the Nokia 3000, the one you could not break. You could really run it over with your car. It was indestructible. And they went, that's too good. Let's back it away.
Props to Nokia.
Yeah. They said there's still some, still on YouTube.
My phone, I like cough on it and it gets cracked.
Yeah.
It's better than having a beeper.
Yeah.
Do you know what a beeper is?
That's like the thing they had in Young Sheldon, right? That Georgie got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And people used to wear them like on their
Up
their
until recently,
waistline.
I saved mine just for the fun of it, and then I just ended up throwing it away because it doesn't.
Dude.
I know, but it was a little. It looked like the
Ooh,
thing your
you.
earbuds come in, except it had a clip, and then you put it on your waist, and every time it would go beep 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 beep, or it would
Just
vibrate.
Like sold it to like a pawn shop. Made millions.
Yeah. It was a throwaway Motorola. It was crap. So, but yeah, and you have to decode the phone number or the message or whatever it is,
And
that
they
was
ran on batteries like
Oh, yeah.
AA, AAA.
yeah, it was
something like
terrible.
that.
I mean, terrible for the environment. You had to throw out batteries constantly. And then, like when I started in the fire department, they issued them. You either had to have a cell phone or they issued you a pager, so you had to get your overtime pages.
Who didn't have a cell phone in the year of 2009?
We had 2 people who still had pagers, and one guy held it on until he retired like 2 years ago.
Okay, well, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's kind of iconic for that.
Yeah, I mean, he just held it on the whole time. But he was just an old redneck. He liked sitting in the woods and hunting, and he didn't give a crap. He drove a 1985 pickup truck, and he just didn't give a crap about technology.
And some people don't want to be reached. They don't want
Yeah.
the cell phone where it's like instant. You call someone and they say, "Why didn't you pick up? I tried to call you." With the pager, it was a little different. It was at your discretion if you called them back or not.
Yeah. Even now, it's like you're so over-connected, and you're over just everything is in your face constantly all the time. It's, isn't there's a disease or something now, isn't there, where like, if you lose your phone, you just lose it. You come unglued. Isn't there, it's like a dependency on having your cell phone, and if your cell phone goes there and you drop it, but
Like you just did.
Yeah, but if you forget it at home and you go to the store and all of a sudden you're like, oh, my cell phone, and you just
Yeah.
can't focus.
Oh, I do that all the time, and then it's just in my back pocket.
Yeah, but like people who leave it somewhere or they actually do lose it, they just
Oh yeah, that happened to me.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think what you're talking about is different than someone having a complete total meltdown when they're gone for an hour and they don't have their phone.
Well, I mean, like, I think it's different, like, if you don't know where it is
True.
versus, like, oh, I just left my phone at home. Like, that I'd be
Yeah.
fine with. But,
Well-
like, if I lost my phone
But some
Yeah.
of
and I
that
didn't know where it went, I'd lose it.
But some of that too is because the cost of a phone nowadays to replace
Yeah.
your phone is probably, I'm just guessing here, $1,000
Yeah, that's
for an
probably right.
iPhone. So the first thing is, holy crap, how am I going to pay for a new phone if I can't find my current phone?
I got my savings.
Well, but think of this too. How much stuff do people put on their phones? I mean, we don't, but I mean, all of their money runs through their phones. I get this all the time at work. Zelle, Venmo,
Cash App.
Cash apps, all these cash apps, their entire banking history is in their phones, along with all of their sensitive information and probably some nudes. I mean, it's just everything is in their phones. So when they lose that, they just lose everything. All of their money is not secure anymore. All of their personal information is out there, and it's all just because they got lazy and left their phone somewhere.
I don't know if they got lazy. I think they just forgot.
Yeah.
You think it's in your pocket? No, you left it on the table at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people leave them in the bathroom, the public bathroom.
Dude, the amount
Ew.
of phones I've come across, like, just sitting on top of the toilet paper thing
Really?
is crazy. Yes, and I never know what to do with them. I'm like, do I leave it so when they come back? Or do I go give it to someone at the front desk? So if they're like,
Where
"Have
are
you seen
these
my phone?"
places?
Restaurants?
I found one at Sky Zone, a few at restaurants. There was one at Cape Christian Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think
Oh,
people
you know
put them
what?
down to wipe.
I guess then guys are different too. We're kind of standing at a
And
urinal.
I've done
where-
it too. I've been washing my hands, so I put my phone in the sink and then I
Yeah.
walk out, and I've never had it to the point where I'm like a half hour later I realize it's gone. I just walk out the stall, I'm like, oh crap, but
Yeah, that's something I have not had that. I'm busy holding on to other things when I'm in the bathroom. I can't hold on to a phone. Huh. Well, there you go. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I'm Jason,
I'm B.
And I'm Laurie.
and this has been another episode of the Very Terrible Podcast.